So our second speaker of the night also has 3 fun facts that you probably don't know about him. So Andrew didn't eat sugar from the ages of 4 to 14 after overdosing on chocolate when he was 4 years old. That sounds kind of traumatic. If his family is away and his friends are occupied, he still might go to a dance club and dance solo. And Andrew is not active on social media. As you can see up there, he does not have a Twitter handle, he doesn't have an Instagram, or at least one that he publicly uses. So Andrew, come on up here and share your fuck up.
Thank you, Marsha. Hello, hello. I think I'm actually humbled to be here more than anything else. I'm pretty excited, but I think this kind of event, when you there's a cathartic moment where you have to go back and reach deep into what your biggest fuck-ups were, and it makes you realize, like, in the one hand, it's a high, because you've got some great learning, and the other hand, it also harkens back to some memories that you kind of want to erase, but I think this is a phenomenal event, and if I can, provide any nuggets of wisdom, that's awesome. I think also the one thing about going after Aaron, you realize, is that even if I fuck up this speech, I got a lot out of your speech. So I think, I still think I'm ahead in this event anyways. Let's see. So without further ado, quick background relates to my story. I graduated from school and I got a job. I went to biz school. I went to a company called Nelvana. I don't know if anyone has heard of it, but it's a division of Chorus Entertainment. They make children's entertainment, Franklin the Turtle, Care Bears, etc. So I went there and started licensing these characters to toy companies, apparel companies, back in the day, VHS. And I grew there for about 8 years. And then after that, I got sort of plucked by a company we had licensed to called Mega Bloks. I also went to Montreal. And there, I actually learned a lot more about consumer products. I headed up their consumer product boys toys division, headed up marketing, headed up licensing. My world of 16 years of business had been completely consumed by trying to target to 3 to 10-year-old kids. That's really what I had known. However, the one thing about Mega Bloks that was interesting was that when we were doing a lot of marketing, this is back in 2005, 6, 7, going into 8, digital was obviously growing substantially. YouTube, Facebook had come onto the scene. Kids' times were changing and they were spending a lot of time online, and so we saw a lot of people both wanting to customize their experiences online by their Facebook profiles and stuff, and then also make their products customized. We saw that in our block building. And so I got enamored by the industry of customized products. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And what I was noticing at the time is people could start to make their own products online. Keds and Nike had come out with customizers that you can actually customize your own shoes. Companies like Zazzle, Cafe Press, I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They're still around. You can make your own mugs. You can make your own photo albums. And I was just completely consumed by this idea of the future not being manufacturing products in China or overseas, mass-produced, put them in stores, but rather people actually making their own products. So I studied the area, the space of customization, and I realized there was one category that I thought was not well done, and it was die-cut stickers. And so I became consumed in trying to research about this. I flew around the world. I learned about digital printing. I actually gave in my resignation to Mega Bloks, kind of cut a deal with them to kick me out, and had some time to pursue this idea. I noticed that there was an opportunity there, and so I wrote a business plan and tried to raise some capital, which I was fortunate in being able to raise. The business plan really struck upon this notion of how people wanted to make their own custom products. Now they can make their own custom stickers. I have a little bit of vanity, so I thought, oh, people might want to make their own custom stickers with their name. They can add an image, they could add backgrounds, they could do some cool stuff. And who could that market be? Well, I'm used to kids, but I think die-cut vinyl stickers are appreciated more by even a little bit older market. So I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna go 10 to 24 years old, full of personal expression. This is who's gonna wanna make custom stickers online. And so the business plan, when we presented it, people got excited, but they were kind of like, hey, is the revenue gonna be strong enough? So instead of just building a website to do this, we thought we can also put our technology on third-party websites. So We wrote a big business plan and a development slate that would allow us to build the world's first die-cut sticker editor. It would have color bar, you'd have a text tool, you'd have 20 different fonts, you would have over 10,000 images that we either self-designed, we sourced, and we uploaded into our art bank to allow people to create with. You could take these images, put them on the sticker editor, you could add text, you could color different images. This was going to be the best sticker maker in the world. Not only that, to make the revenue model very scalable and exciting for investors, we had a bunch of brands, including Coca-Cola, Batman, scrapbooking.com, all who wanted to put a sticker maker on their website. Who wouldn't? Everyone loves stickers. Allow your fans to engage with your brand and make your own stickers. And when it goes to Coca-Cola, you're only getting Coca-Cola art assets that you can order with, so it was completely protected to what Coca-Cola wanted. So we thought, this is cool. Backtrack. 60% of our budget was to do a sticker editor. 30% of our budget was to do a widget that could go on any website with some JavaScript. Little Hail Mary, 5% of our budget, allow people to upload their own images. Maybe someone wants to have a logo or a photo and they're gonna want to do their own stickers, cool. But it wouldn't take as much of our budget because you don't have to get all the elaborateness in designing. So, we spent about 1 year and 2 months building all these components, raised about $1.5 million, and the cool thing, as some people might know, is when you get to launch day, you're pretty stressed out, but you're also pretty excited. A lot of adrenaline. People want to make stickers, all right? This is the first in the world. It's coming out of Canada. This is Sandy Lion 2.0, right? We're going to do it. So, and of course, you know, we've spent a lot of money, and you know, on a personal level, when you do these startups, you don't get your old beautiful salary. You take a massive haircut, so you put your family on a budget. People eat celery, crackers, everything's good. You're going to launch, and you're going to hit your business plan. So we launched, and within about 6 months, we had the results. The percentage of orders that came into StickerYou using the design tool that I showed you and the images that we had uploaded, 25% of our orders were using that design tool. 60% of our budget, 25% of our orders. Not great, kind of disappointing, but not horrible. 30% of our budget, the widget on other people's websites, 1% of our sales. So now we're getting a little bit scary because we have 90% of $1 million spend have gone to code that ultimately is only going to represent 26% of our revenue as a business. So I'm freaking out a little bit because we now are probably going to have to raise more money. You could see the path where you're going to run out of funds. This whole notion of third-party websites and brands that are coming on board is kind of no more. We're not going to make money off that. And the whole cool factor of creative expression with being able to design using our tool isn't really that sexy. However, we have an upload tool. 75% of our orders, people are uploading stuff, and they're ordering stickers. And the sales are growing a little bit every month in that facet. So again, back to the state of the mind of the CEO. What happens when you don't hit your business plan and you've got investors and there's all this pressure, self-built and then some from external, is you start kind of trying to cut a few corners. And so, you know, what happens is you try to come up with other revenue generating mechanisms for the business. You try to fast track a few different development slates that we're doing. And also you drive around the city much faster than you normally should. And so over the course of about 6 months of going live, I accumulated 13 demerit points. I had a perfect record before, and then all of a sudden, I'm in big shit. Until January 15th, I think it was, 2011, this was about 11 months after launch, starting to run out of cash, getting a little nervous, and marriage is still good, but I get arrested for speeding, again. And of course, this time the cop looks in my record and realizes, holy shit, this guy is actually beyond demerit points now. Get out of the car, it's getting impounded, you're walking home. I didn't even have money on me actually, because I was actually just going to get some juice. So I was really screwed. There's like Allen Road, I was like 2 miles away. No, the cop actually drove me home. Sorry, I remember what happened. He actually had pity on me. But my car had to stay there. So needless to say, that was difficult because for the next 6 months, I could not drive. My wife and my parents actually had to drive me to get to the bus stop on time to get downtown. My kids were always late to their skating lessons. These things start to take a toll for any female in the audience. If you think your husband's like, this pathetic, it starts to really grate you, okay? I'm in massive debt to her. So we meet as a board, and this is the beginning of Q1 2011. We're almost out of cash. We roll up the sleeves on the business and what we're doing, and we've got 2 little silver linings to go on, which is this upload tool. For one thing, people have their own logos. Unbeknownst to me, people actually have their own digital shit. And they have a lot of it, especially when there's somebody who I have never done business with before, which is small businesses. I know kids, they have, they like to design with stuff you give them, but adults actually have their own logos. And they're not, skateboarders, but, 28-year-old bakers and people making their own creams and startups like yourself. And they just want a very affordable, cool set of vinyl die-cut stickers, which we could make, but we made the method to getting them so difficult that, and we expended so much money in areas that no one cared about, that we kind of had a kids-looking website to do a professional-grade product for businesses. So we decided to actually spend the next 2 years redeveloping the entire site, maybe about a year and a half actually, hired some more developers, had to do another $1 million raise, get diluted, but we had a board that believed in it, and I only could believe in it, or else that was it. It was just leave the country quick. So the big learning that came out of this is that everything we did from that point forward, this is Q1 2011 in the development slate for redoing the site on the front end, the back end actually was not too bad, to every product we ever innovated, every marketing strategy we upholded, we basically swore to ourselves we would use customer insights to guide 80% of those decisions. We would still maybe take up to 20% of our decisions and little whim, someone's got an idea, we don't want to block that kind of Google mentality. But 80% of everything we do has to be either data-based or real customer insight-based. And it's funny because everyone always talks about the home run and stuff. And from 2001 Q1 to today, we've been able to grow every quarter singles and doubles. We've improved the editor, we improved the die-cut algorithm, we allowed people to make borders, we introduced clear stickers, and then wall decals, and then labels, and then roll labels. And everything came off what customers kept on asking for, wanting. Sometimes we took a whim, we did tattoos, and we didn't have people asking that, but we saw our technology could go there, and it ended up working. But it was, it's funny, but whenever you're running these things, you're going to be, this contradiction occurs, which is if you're going to raise money and if you're going to spend your own time in something, you got to have something big that you think this can work at, because otherwise, why do it? At the other side, very rarely are you so smart, and I know I'm not, maybe there are some bright people here, I was talking to some people earlier, so some of you can defy the odds, but generally speaking, to come up with a plan that's a year out and with all the bells and whistles you come up with, you're going to miss some stuff, probably. So try to think about how you can build a really good strategic plan, but just build it small. Release a little bit, get some feedback, and isolate. Like, don't do all 5 features and release them at once. One feature, and learn off of that. That, honestly, has been the best prescription for our success. I've seen a few other people, again, who you talk to in the community who've run startups. A lot of us have had the same kind of mistake in different ways, but it's probably the most universal wisdom that I could see as being out there. And although you may have heard it, I thought, hey, maybe this would be a good opportunity to kind of just give you our example of it. And if that resonates with you in any way, and it helps you save money, a lot of time. I mean, we spent about a year building something that may have only needed about 3 months. All these things add up. So I would highly encourage you to maybe just consider that one insight. Otherwise, I wish you anyways the best of luck, because anyone who takes the ride to try something that they're passionate about, I'm a huge fan of. I think you'll get a lot out of it. Thank you.
Awesome. Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your story. I think it's so important to know when it's time to pivot or when it's time to learn from something that hasn't worked out, and congratulations on being able to do that. So let's open it up to a Q&A for Andrew.
Hello, hello. By the way, if you ask a good question, you get a sticker. I'm buying good questions here. Yes.
Hi.
Sorry, do
So during the first time, when things were kind of not looking so great, what would you say was the one thing that kept you up at night?
Well, there were a lot of things that definitely kept me up at night. That's for sure. There were a lot. Marriage, running out of money. Am I killing my kids? It all seems to kind of center around two things. I think one, there's this reality to money. Like, if you can't make payroll, there's a lot going on with that. I think somewhere the thing that then keeps you up at night is those few moments that you come back to reality and you say, maybe I'm not good enough to do this. And it's the part that's the hardest. Like, it really tests your mettle. And I think some of this stuff is you gotta be a bit crazy, because you gotta just somehow believe that you can get through it. And I think you also do need a reality check, because if we didn't, in fact, our board members really helped ground me in getting off this drug of all these widgets and third-party sites, even though they bought into that. They helped me realize that's the wrong strategy, and I kept wanting to prove that could work, and they kind of helped me recalibrate. Once they did, and I realized that they kind of still believe in this thing, I think it got way better. But those are tough times. You need some really good people around you to kind of give you a little confidence, a little boost. But it's that personal confidence that I think sometimes is the most fragile thing. And so I think two things. One, you need some good people around you. Two, you're gonna be okay. You just have to clear your mind and work your way through it. You didn't get this whole place because you didn't sell a bunch of people on an idea and get it going because you're incompetent. There's just so many pitfalls along the way, and it's easy to fall into them. So that's why it's kind of, if these things kind of help you make one less mistake, great. Less therapy. Right? Yes, I think. Should I choose, or do you guys want to choose? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you choose.
Okay. Sorry. I've got a question around the mechanics of how did you figure out that you had to shift to the SMEs? Did you look at where the traffic came from? Did you go and reach out? Did somebody outside say, dude, this is your client? And a brief comment to Erin. I worked on Fast Furious in Abu Dhabi, and I was there when Paul Walker died, if you want a couple of juicy behind-the-scenes stories. Thank you.
That's a good afterward topic for sure. So I think your question's, what were the insights that led us to know that this was way off plan? The good thing about e-commerce is it's fairly clean. Attribution in marketing can be very difficult because it could be multi-channels, but sales are very clear. And so as soon as we could see that these widgets on third-party websites were not delivering sales, the only real question was why. It wasn't that we didn't know that they weren't working. So we did a few intercepts, and we actually realized that part of the reason people weren't buying is when it was free, a lot of people would do it. But when they had to buy, they got nervous because a widget opens up and it says, you want to make stickers, and then you're in a checkout. And there's like no 1-800 number, there's no customer service, there's no how long it's going to take to ship to get there. And I think people back then were a little nervous about, like, is this a hoax? Is this like a scam? And so it's just the believability was a big part of that problem on those websites. But the data was clear, people weren't going to convert, and we didn't then want to put more money to try to correct that. We just said, fix the home base, like make our site even better.
We have a quick question back here. Keep looking, keep to your left.
Yes.
There you go.
Hello.
So you talked about all of the money you put into the company and all the things that didn't work, but what stuck until this day? Like, I know you said the upload feature, it was 1% of cost and so much of the revenue. What stuck until this day, until what you've built now?
In terms of what we initially coded, or in terms of like features on the website, or?
The idea as a whole, and
Oh, okay.
how that kind of, like the things that you got right off the bat that stuck with you until where you're at today.
Yeah, okay, sure. I think the best thing that we learned was that what stuck was that, we built technology on the back end that allows people to order kind of effectively any size, shape, and quantity of stickers for a really, really affordable price. It's the way we engineered the production side. And there's automation in what we did. And I think at the end of the day, when you build something that offers real value, people stay with you. So even that we had, think of it this way, you have a website that looks like it's for kids, and these small businesses are going and ordering their stuff off of it. It's because there's, I mean, it's like such a good price. It was $30 for us and $300 if they go to Vistaprint. And there's like, all right, I'll try the kid thing and see what happens. So I think that was important. Once you see them uploading logos, you're like, okay, I just need to make the front end of this a lot more business friendly. And that thing kind of stuck. It's funny because businesses buy very pragmatically. Consumers sometimes buy more emotionally. And so we've realized that we had to go pragmatic. Fast forward 9-10 years now, we still believe in the consumer side of things. We just opened a store on Queen Street. People are buying lots of ready-made stickers. So it's had a new renaissance, but we've had so many insights to do the consumer part better this next time around that we've been able to kind of regenerate it. Sure. You guys will pick, yes.
Hello.
Hey, hello. Lucky you.
Was struggling for the mic earlier. Anyways, my name's Domi. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Sure.
So my final question is, obviously, with your biggest failure, because you had a few more obstacles around your line, obviously money was a bit tighter, you had a family to raise. What kept you from having that grit and kept you moving forward to the successes that you have today?
Kept me moving forward. Like sometimes when your back's to the wall, I mean, I think one thing that probably helped, ironically, is I had kids. And, there's a fragility to being a parent and sort of a responsibility and an ownership. And I'm not sure if that inevitably was like, there's no fucking way this can't work. Because these guys are like, this is not going to look good, right? They don't have a guy making income. He's got a bankrupt company. It's just all bad. So I think somewhere you kind of take inspiration from the things that you love and you just keep working at them. And as long as there's some real belief system that it can work, you stay with it. I think also just your DNA has to be somewhat that you're a bit of an optimist. Like that just has to kind of glass half full, like that will keep you going pretty far. I know a lot of people that as soon as they get a mistake, or a hurdle, they want to run away because they don't like failure, but this thing should hopefully help everyone realize you're going to make a lot of failures. You need it, and it will drive. You're learning. As long as you got the half full stuff that keeps you going, the other stuff actually is great for you to learn. Whatever. I lost a lot of money, but now it's okay. So, perspective.
And with that, I feel like that's a good note to end on. So perspective. Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your story.